A fine start to the day, turning cloudy and wet from the west with the risk of some thunderstorms. I'll have all the details of that and more coming up on Good Morning Britain.
Monday, all night.
Well,
That's
no,
the
I
walk of
went to
shame,
bed at a reasonable time, but I can't unzip a dress without help because my hands just don't do that. So that is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, Your Honour.
Look, there was no sign of the Northern Lights, so I had a quick look at Sunday night. So I tried there.
No, and so we had this massive solar storm. I think we'll go to a little more later, but it had a massive solar, just the sun was ruining it. So as soon as the sun sets, when it gets dark enough, that's when you can see them. But annoyingly on Saturday, but yeah, it was amazing. I was out there for ages and ages, and it was really moving. It was really emotional because you just think, this is nature, this is incredible.
So I think Laura was saying that you didn't stay up.
The one that we had on Friday night was 16 times the size of Earth, so it was huge. And it's all of these charged particles interacting with the magnetic north and south pole that gave this huge storm. It was a G5 storm. That's the highest we can have, the strongest we've seen since 2003. And it's worth pointing out, for some areas, there were radio blackouts. Elon Musk was talking about his satellites up in space, saying that the wind was so strong it was potentially going to move those. And on the International Space Station, where they're not protected by the Earth's atmosphere, they go into a safe space in the middle of the space station where they're protected from these rays that which would actually be very harmful to them. And they have monitors on to make sure that they're safe for the whole time. Now, this is the forecast for tonight. You can see the probability of the Northern Lights happening peaks across the north of the UK. So the Northern Isles and for northern Scotland, there's a moderate chance of seeing them, but with clear skies. But unfortunately, it looks like it's turning increasingly cloudy. Here's the details. So thankfully, Friday night, for many of us, the skies were clear for perfect viewing. Tonight, that is not the case because it starts off fine and dry today, but then it turns cloudy and wet from the west. So first thing this morning, it's largely dry, clearest conditions through the east, but cloud and rain already lurking in the west. And so for Wales and southwest England, it turns cloudy. Good morning to you. We had warmth and sunshine this weekend, but it's going to be a distant memory as we head through the week because it is all change. Why? It is always down to the jet stream. The jet stream divides the cold and the warm, and in between it brings wet. So the jet stream is overhead today and it brings low pressure. It brings cloud, wind and rain from the west. Good morning to you. The weather was a talking point this weekend because it was beautiful, warm and sunny, but also was a talking point because of the Northern Lights. It was Friday night. We had a G5 storm. That's the highest level we can have, the strongest we've seen in the UK since 2003, and they were widely seen right across the UK, even in the south. Now, can we still see? Welcome back to Good Morning Britain. And while the warmth and the sunshine would normally have been the talking point over the weekend, it wasn't that. In fact, it was these. It was way back in October 2003. There's a chance of seeing the Northern Lights across the far north of the UK tonight. So this is the latest forecast. The far north of England and across the Northern Isles, seeing the Northern Lights basically after around about 10, 11 o'clock tonight when it's darkest, before the activity starts to ease off. But unfortunately, the weather... Good morning to you. We had warmth and sunshine this weekend, but it's all changed this week because it turns more unsettled. Today we sit with the warmth and sunshine through eastern areas, but it clouds over from the west with rain. So this is how it looks at the moment. Fine and sunny in the east, but here comes the cloud and rain through western areas. So southwest England and Wales see the rain moving in within the next few hours. It arrives in Northern Ireland by around about lunchtime. Central and eastern areas of the UK, so that's England and Scotland, the best of the sunshine and pleasantly warm, and with blue skies, highs of 24.